everybody? Daily Draft Dude back again, once again, for another fantasy football mock draft. Today we are going to be doing a half PPR mock draft from the 10 spot. But before we get into that, if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. Also, leave a comment if you like my takes or you don't like my takes. I just want to sort of know any sort of feedback about my fantasy football knowledge as we get into it. But with that being said, let us begin. All right, so this is half PPR, same old spiel. Jonathan Taylor's going at the 2 spot. That is insane. I prefer going running backs here, and we actually have some pretty big heaters. We have a CD Lamb, we have an Amon-Ra St. Brown, we have Ashton Genty, we have Devon Achan. I would be pretty disappointed not to get any of those. But I would love to go Ashton Genty here. I could totally see it. I think I'm going to go CD Lamb, though. To me, it doesn't really make sense to not go the best player available there. I mean, it's CD Lamb. He's going to lock in for a ton of targets. Yes, he dealt with a high ankle sprain. It is what it is. When he came back, though, I thought he was a pretty solid, serviceable fantasy asset as usual. Yeah, he's 27. He's getting older, but I think with his sort of slot usage that he could play going into his 30s. With that being said, I think here again another best player available. I think we just go Justin Jefferson. We double up on pass catchers and sort of see where the draft takes us. Okay, this team I think is really strong. Bijan, Allen, Jacobs, Brock Bowers here, super late. I think is really good. This is for me is going to be an easy Brees. I think Brees is going to be an absolute monster this year. I think the Jets are going to be probably one of the better values in fantasy football, just due to sort of the pieces in the offense. The offensive line is better. Yeah, I don't believe in their coach. Oh my God, his name is Aaron Glenn. There it is escaping me, but I do think Gino can be a serviceable game manager. I I have high hopes for them, and I think Brees Hall is going to be an excellent pick this year. Obviously, 2 years ago he was picked over here, and he's fallen quite a bit, but take the value here. I think it's going to be really good. Now we have some options. So I don't. When I anchor my team, I don't like to double dip on the Cowboys, even though I do think it's going to be high scoring. This is half PPR. He scored a lot of touchdowns last year. I mean, what is this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 11 touchdowns is a lot, and it's sort of led into his fantasy score. Like obviously this is 8 points, right? If touchdowns are 2, are 6 points rather. This is 19, so this is pretty good. That's fine. Again, 13, 20 is pretty good. 12 again. This is 5, right? So I'm just not into Javante. I think he's going way too high. I would rather have Scat, Hendo, Tootin, Judkins definitely, Montgomery definitely, Ramondre. Yeah, I'm just not really feeling it. You know what though? Let's do something a little crazy. Let's do a little bit of hero RB, unless we get Judkins here, and let's go. We got Drake May. Yeah, let's go Burden. Let's go Burden. Let's sort of see what he was. Yeah, let's do a little hero RB. I know it's not really hero RB. Like Genty should have been my hero RB. Um, no, 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 no. Let's go Drake May. Let's go Drake May. We're gonna get our elite quarterback. It's a little early, and we'll sort of see where the RB value is. Just just wasn't, I think this team is good. Loveland, Ibuka, Warren. I want to draft more Warren. Yeah, we get Quinshawn. I mean, smash Quinshawn. Honestly, there's probably like a real chance that we get him here. Watson, Odunze, Tyson, I really like. We have two really good pass catchers. I'd rather sort of solidify our running back room. I think Monty, while I'm not the biggest fan, I was talking to my friend about this earlier. I do think that the Texans are going to maybe rely less on CJ Stroud to facilitate their offense and sort of let their defense keep them in the game and let Monty churn with the occasional third down pass to Dalton Schultz or Nico Collins. So for that reason, I'm going to go Monty. Yeah, I mean there were some good wide receiver values. I did like Watson. I think I would have went Watson over Odunze. It just seemed like when he came back, Christian Watson like had this instant connection with with Jordan Love, and yeah, it did coincide sort of with where's Tucker Craft with Tucker Craft going down. Yeah, like Tucker Craft went down week 9, and Watson came back. Was it week 9 or was it week 10? Week 8. And so, and Watson had a pretty good. And I mean, this is full PPR, 20 points, 20 on 5, with 2 touchdowns. So that definitely again sort of inflates it as we saw with with Javante. Where's Javante? There he is. So I think here, uh, let's look at the wide receiver values. Now you know what? Let's get some Sam Laporta. I'm feeling Sam Laporta here. He's in the 7th. Again, he's fallen quite a bit. This is just dynasty. Um, I think he's gonna be really good. I'm not sure if he had back surgery. I know that he had a disc injury. I think he's recovering from that. I think Sam Laporta in the 7th is really good. I know Jared Goff loves him. Super talented. I think this is great value. Going back to wide receiver, love BTJ, love Marv, Ricky Pearsall. You can go Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce, I think, is pretty decent. I like to diversify my roster. That's sort of my personal fantasy philosophy. I like to spread out, especially the core. I don't really enjoy stacking too much. I just don't really see. This is not best ball. So if you miss on your stack or it's not hitting, you could really screw yourself. I think here, yeah, don't really love a lot of the running back values. I think we can get Jadarian Price or like Jordan Mason or somebody later. Let's take a little pick on Marv and sort of see how that works out. I don't think I'm going to get Parker Washington. Nope. Would have loved Parker Washington. So let's take a peek at the roster. We have Drake May, Brees, Quinshawn, CD, JJ, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, Marv. Okay. Going back. Okay. There's Ja'Cory Crossy Merritt, I think could be really good. There's Michael Pittman, I think could be really good. QJ could be really good, especially because they picked up his 5th-year option. So I think he could be very, very good, and he's still pretty young. He's only 24. He's had some ups and downs. He's been hurt. I mean, look at this. Out by 90% of the snaps, but 3 targets, no catches. Out. But again, that's really 12 points. Touchdowns, they do a lot to inflate somebody's numbers. So you see big number, right? You see all these numbers and you're like, wow, that's like pretty good. But that's really 12 points if you take out the touchdowns. But that's really, 10 points. So it's for me, I'm looking right here. This is the moneymaker right here, and I think these numbers are pretty good. This in particular, this is a great number. This is a great number. 13 targets, 8 receptions, 1 touchdown, all good. 23 points, yeah, really turns out to be, what is that, 24, 18. Um, I am a little wide receiver heavy. Um, there's a part of me that kind of wants to go Pittman. I haven't really drafted a lot of Pittman. Let's do Pittman. Sort of see where the world takes us. Um, yeah, I mean, I think there's really some really good options. We could take JCM. It's in the 10th. Like, I know these guys are gonna play. I don't know about JCM. He scares me. JCM is not somebody I'm super super interested in. There was a talk about him last season. He's a seventh round pick. When Jaden Daniels went out, his efficiency was down. I mean, he's had I think some issues, and it's a crowded room, right? Jerome Ford comes in. They pay Rashad White. He comes in. In full PPR, Rashad White is an absolute smash at value. They retain Jeremy McNichols, Robert Henry Jr., undrafted free agent who Matt Waldman is really high on. So I've stashed a bunch of him in Dynasty. Katron Allen, fifth round pick, fifth round pick, sixth round pick, one of those. Really really good stuff. So it's a little crowded. Who knows how it's actually going to shake out? For me, I don't see Rashad. Where's Rashad White? There he is. I'd rather just wait around and take Rashad White. I think here, let's just take another sort of volume guy. One, two, three, four, or maybe take an upside shot. Could take an upside shot on Mason. Yeah, he just wasn't that good. Just wasn't as amazing as I thought he was going to be. Yeah, let's take another shot. We'll do QJ. QJ, we sort of solidified our wide receiver room. Yep. There goes Shadarian Price. And I think here, this is an easy Rashad White smash. Woody Marks, Tyrone Tracy, Jordan Mason, Jordan Coleman, Tajay Spears, Mike Washington, I don't love. Jay Brooks, I like. Jane Higgins, I like a lot. I know I talked about how I think they may allow, like the Texans may allow their defense to sort of keep them in the game and just have CJ Stroud be a game manager. If Jaden Higgins can play that power slot that Matt Harmon was talking about and become that safety net, sort of in the same way as Dalton Schultz for CJ Stroud, I think he's going to be an incredible value this year. And now let's just take on uh, some RB shots to end the draft. We're going to do some of my favorites. Let's do Chris Rodriguez. I would not draft, what's his name? Mike Washington at all unless you have Ashton Genty. I just don't think there's a point. Personally, Jonathan Brooks. I mean, there is a point because you don't have Ashton Genty, so should something happen to him, you can ask for a king's ransom for Mike Washington because presumably he would be the next guy up. But, who knows? And then I think with this being said, we can just take Katron out. I know I have Rashad White. You can take Katron Allen. I've been really liking Emmanuel Wilson. There is, I think there's upside for him. You know what? Yes, Jadarian Price could totally take it over, but you know what? For the start of the season, I got him at the very end of the draft. If he doesn't pan out, no big deal. If he does, churn him a couple weeks later. Maybe put him in a trade, try and upgrade in a different position. So, but with that being said, thank you very much for tuning in, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for another daily draft video. Bye.